She appears to us as Jethro's daughter, a daughter without a name, one of the 7 daughters of a priest of Midian, or as Moses' wife. This is the story of Zipporah, and according to some stories, she is Moses' first wife. One of the most mysterious subjects in the Bible is Moses' family. The Bible tells more about the great leader of the people of Israel than about any other person. As a result, it is especially noticeable how little is revealed about his family members and the mystery that surrounds the little that is revealed. Today we will dive into the story of Zipporah, the woman behind the great leader. Not only does Zipporah not hinder redemption, but it enables it. Its connection with Moses expresses the special spiritual connection between Moses and Jethro, a connection that led to spiritual ascension. Zipporah is the one who saves Moses from death and thus enables his mission. She is the one who points out the importance of the covenant between God and Israel as a necessary element in redemption, and she is the one who is willing to pay a personal price to part with her husband so that he can meet God and fulfill his mission. The Bible does not only tell about Moses and his mission but describes several other figures who seem to be significant in the process of redemption. The midwives, who are commanded by Pharaoh to kill the babies, but they do not listen to his voice and revive the children. Daughter of Levi, her name is not mentioned in the Bible, but we know that she is Jochebed, Moses' mother. Miriam, Moses' sister. And Pharaoh's daughter, disobeying her father's order, saves the baby from death, names him Moses, and raises him herself. It is interesting to note that all the important figures in the process of Moses' birth, rescue, and growth are women. There is one woman no less important, if not the most important, among them, and she is Zipporah, the wife of Moses. For the first time, Zipporah is mentioned by name in her marriage with Moses. Moses agreed to stay with the man, who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. Exodus 2 verse 21. Why did Moses marry a woman from Midian, and how did it affect the redemption process? Moses' marriage to Zipporah caused a delay in the plan. After marrying the Midianite's daughter, he continued to live with his father-in-law for 60 years and seemed uninterested in his brother's condition. However, later in the verses, it becomes clear that God did not see this marriage as a flaw. The evidence for this is that God chose Moses to lead Israel out of Egypt. In chapter 4 of the book of Exodus, a powerful story unfolds during Moses' journey from Midian to Egypt. At a lodging place on the way, the Lord met Moses and was about to kill him. But Zipporah took a flint knife, cut off her son's foreskin and touched Moses' feet with it. "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me," she said. So the Lord let him alone. Exodus 4 verses 24 to 26. The commandment to free Israel from Egypt came from God to Moses. However, when Moses is on the way to Egypt, God wants to kill him. But Zipporah intervened, saving Moses from this fate and facilitating the redemption process. Her actions earned her a place among the women who played pivotal roles in Israel's redemption. This rescue by Zipporah is the sole account we have of her actions in the Bible. Nevertheless, she appears twice more in later passages. The first time is when her father, Jethro, comes to Moses in the desert and brings Zipporah and his sons with him after the story of the sending by Moses. The second time she is mentioned is when the question of the marriage of Zipporah and Moses is raised by Miriam and Aaron. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. "Has the Lord spoken only through Moses?" they asked. "Hasn't he also spoken through us?" And the Lord heard this. Numbers 12:1-2. The story of the Cushite woman presents a significant challenge. Whether she is indeed Zipporah or not, we find ourselves wondering about the identity of the second woman whom Moses married. It raises questions about why he took another wife and why we have limited information about her. If you want to find out more about the Cushite woman, search a video on our channel, The Second Wife of Moses. Now, let's briefly revisit the beginning of Moses' journey and examine the intricacies of his marriage to Zipporah. This is how the Bible narrates Moses' arrival in Midian. When Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses. Exodus 2 verse 15. Moses flees from Pharaoh, who seeks to harm him. This is because Moses took the life of an Egyptian man who had mistreated one of his Hebrew brethren. In Midian, near a well, we find the beginning of Zipporah's tale. But Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian, where he sat down by a well. Now a priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill the troughs to water their father's flock. Some shepherds came along and drove them away, but Moses got up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. Exodus 2 verses 15-17. Moses came to Jethro's house, not following Zipporah or her sisters. Instead, it was Jethro who invited him. Only after this invitation, Moses was introduced to Zipporah. Moses agreed to stay with the man, who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. Exodus 2 verse 21. After Moses received the mission to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, he left Jethro's house and took Zipporah and his sons with him. At a lodging place on the way, the Lord met Moses and was about to kill him. But Zipporah took a flint knife, cut off her son's foreskin and touched Moses' feet with it. "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me," she said. So the Lord let him alone. Exodus 4 verses 24-26. Many commentators suggest that God intended to end Moses' life, but why would God choose this precise moment, just as Moses was about to fulfill his mission? The story starts with a unique phrase, "The Lord met Moses." This description of Moses' relationship with God is extraordinary. In the Bible, we typically read about God speaking to someone or sending an angel, but a meeting with God is unparalleled, occurring only here. To reach such a high level of prophecy, Moses must be exceptionally prepared. During a meeting with God, even the slightest imperfection becomes intolerable and can be deadly. As Moses stands in this divine encounter, an even greater level of perfection is demanded of him. It is not possible, for his son was not circumcised. Zipporah observes the situation and comprehends. She understands the concept of spiritual ascension and recognizes that her husband is now engaged in an exceedingly unique meeting with God. She also realizes that Moses' life hangs in the balance due to some imperfection that doesn't align with this extraordinary encounter with God himself. When she searched for the problem, she understood that the problem was that their son was not circumcised. She corrected it, and this action saved Moses and allowed him to continue his mission. Zipporah, who was from a different nation, understood the unique connection between God and Israel, which was symbolized by circumcision. She performed the circumcision by herself, signifying the special bond between God and Israel and her own bond with God rather than Midian. The Bible ends her story here, and only in chapter 18 we learn that she was not with Moses. It's possible that Moses left Zipporah and their sons behind while he focused on his mission, hoping the child's health would improve, and later returned to Midian. Alternatively, Zipporah may have realized that Moses' position didn't allow for a typical family life and chose to leave him, enabling him to fulfill his mission. Regardless, Moses continued his mission without his family by his side. Later, Miriam disagreed with Moses' separation from Zipporah, arguing that being a prophet shouldn't require leaving one's spouse. Miriam didn't fully grasp Moses' exceptional status, which set him apart from other prophets. Zipporah, Jethro's daughter, understood Moses' unique position and was willing to step aside, allowing him to continue ascending and meeting God. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. You can share with us what you know by leaving a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. Thank you so much and see you next time.